Visionary, welcome to Manifestation by Design, my newest, latest inspiration and investigation that I'm excited to share with you all. Okay, so the first question we're going to ask is why manifesting may not have worked for you in the past. This means you may have tried to start a business, you may have tried to launch a program, you may have been actively seeking a relationship or following manifestation tools and looking out on the world thinking, why did this work for them, but not for me? So, of course, if you've been following my work, you may know what my answer is to this. And if you haven't been, then welcome to my world of integrating human design with the law of attraction tools. Now, from my experience, we really do need to understand how both of these things operate. If you know the law of attraction and manifestation and it hasn't been working for you, then it's quite possible you are taking action in a way that isn't aligned with your strategy and inner authority, with your aura type. Now, this understanding has huge implications and huge outcomes for almost every single person that I am working with, all of my clients. When you understand how your unique aura operates, then the law of attraction tools start to work for you. So, first and foremost, you have to know your strategy and your inner authority, both those things. Otherwise, you're not going to really understand how to manifest. Now, there's a caveat here. If you have been studying my work for a long time, or you're just a fan of human design in general, and you want something more in your life, you want more money, you want a better business, you want a relationship, all of these things are really normal. And yeah, many human design guides will say, oh, it's just your mind telling you what it thinks it wants. And I agree with that to a certain degree, but not all of it. You see, we are here to learn how to co create with the universe from the spiritual perspective. Co creating with the spiritual intelligence, divine intelligence, is not just witnessing, it's also a co creative dance. It's not 100% you. You aren't creating everything. You didn't create the sun, you didn't create the moon in the way that you understand what manifestation is. And but you also do have a ride on this monopole, and the ride is in some ways co-created with the monopole itself. It is important to understand how these tools are operating. Just like gravity is working all the time, whether you're aware of it or not, you're going to fall off a cliff if you leap off of it. The law of attraction, all of that dynamic is operating all the time. So you want to be aware of how it's operating with your design. So your past affects your present, but how? How is your past affecting your present? Your conditioning and your not self theme may be what is doing all of the manifesting for you. And usually that's super uncomfortable. So what that means is, yes, this idea of what you think you want is what you go after, and you're usually going after it through habitual patterns. If your not self is the one that's manifesting for you, then even if you're following manifestation tools or setting goals or going for things, you may reach your dreams and your goals, but be very uncomfortable, still be depressed, still be unhappy. And look around, we see that all the time. People who are famous, people who are rich, they're not really happy, they're not fulfilled, they're not in their purpose, but they've learned how to make things happen, and sometimes with grave consequences. So your centers are where you store your conditioning and patterns from past, society, parents, and schooling. So in any one of these centers, if they're not colored in, if they're white, then you're actually absorbing and amplifying those patterns. And particularly if you have trauma, you store them here and then you repeat these patterns. And so, if you have any pattern that's repeating in a relationship, or let's say you have a pattern of manifesting jobs that don't work for you, or bosses that look like your parents, or perhaps you have a pattern of investing in failed stocks or businesses that don't work. Oftentimes, this is coming from your stored patterns. And this can all be healed by deconditioning and learning your design. So, I want to ask you all who are listening right now, is there something you want to create that you're struggling with? You want more money, you want something, but you just keep coming up against patterns or blocks. That's what this video is about. And that's what I'm hoping to provide a little insight for you, so you can move forward in a new way. I want you to contemplate this question. Is there something you're repeating? Is there something in your past that represents your block? In other words, you have a failed business when you went to create something out of college, it failed miserably, so you're stuck in the fear of repeating that, or you think that defines you. Is there something in your past that is showing up presently? Or is there something that you keep repeating? In other words, you keep having relationships where the person is cheating on you or doesn't respect you. Now, these are the kind of things I want you to contemplate as we're moving forward. And I want you to perhaps perceive this in a different way. So one of the things I ask people to do is go through their past, and the first question is, when things worked out for you, did you accidentally stumble upon your strategy and inner authority? So if you were a projector, were you accidentally invited into something and that worked for you? Or did you notice when you initiated, for generators and projectors, did you initiate something that failed miserably? So in other words, instead of thinking, oh, I'm just a failure, I'm not good at business, maybe it was just simply that you did not follow your strategy and your inner authority. There are other things that we're going to look at when it comes to manifesting. I do have a couple of live classes coming up that I'd like to invite you to. I'll put a link in the description below, and we're going to go a little bit deeper into this. But some of the things that also reveal in your human design chart how to manifest is right here in your nodes, which is the personality side here. And also has to do with this arrow, whether it's pointing to the right or to the left. This is also known as the view, and this is showing you whether you are specific or non-specific. So what type of way that you're supposed to manifest based on your design. Now, there's another center here in human design that we look at, which is your throat center. So your throat center has an impact on how you manifest, how you communicate, how you are supposed to bring things, your ideas, your pressure to bring things out into the world. It's all lined up here in the throat. And so we want to look at this in a deeper way, which is why I'm doing a couple of new live courses, master classes on how to manifest by design. I want to look at more things than what people are usually looking at when they're talking about human design. I want to bring forward some of these other notions. So the throat is one of them. And this is what Ra says is the center for all manifestation. Also, another important area that I think is really important to look at is the motivation and transference. As long as you are not understanding your motivation, which is all based on this color here, then most of the time people are operating out of their transference, which means they are naturally falling into a not self theme instead of being motivated properly. And it kind of feels like being underwater, like you're manifesting out of the wrong place. And of course, most of the time you're conditioned to manifest out of the transference. So this is a really important key point to understand who your allies are and how you are designed to motivate. It makes a big, big difference. And the other thing that's really important is our centering process and the science of centering. So our brain has different brain waves. And through scientific breakthroughs using new technology, they've found new brain waves. So most people are operating out of beta, and this is where anxiety, frustration, and anger live. So literally our not self theme is seen in our brainwave frequencies. And then alpha rises above. It's essentialization and visualization. So for example, if you visualize right now, do it with me, biting into like a juicy pomegranate, it creates a sensation in your whole body. So when you're visualizing, it puts your brain in alpha, and it's the bridge between the conscious and the subconscious. And then there's theta, which is the doorway to the mystical. It also happens naturally when you go into REM sleep. And then delta is what happens when you go into a deep, deep sleep. And this is also the source of intuition. It's the awareness of the void, or what we like to call the passenger consciousness in human design. So here are some of the really important brainwave sciences that we're just now learning. But wait, there's something more. There's a new brainwave that's recently been discovered, which is gamma. So the new science measures who have recently measured meditators and monks, that those people who can reach high meditation states, their brain goes into a whole new type of activity. Now, this was first discovered when science was actually able to track these brainwave states, new EEGs, and it showed us that there's a new brainwave that's produced by the thalamus. It's multi-omnidirectional, right? So once you hit those gamma waves, you have access to new solutions. You learn and remember things 5 to 10 times faster when you're in this frequency. And this is all science-based. We also see this with Joe Dispenza, who has scientifically tracked his advanced workshops where people are going into these high states and having spontaneous healings. And so it happens when we're in these meditation states. And this is because you're entering the void state. But of course, it takes practice and time, because if you don't know how to do this, you go into habitual thoughts and you go into repeat patterns and you go into your not self theme, even when you're trying to meditate or closing your eyes or thinking you're meditating. Like there's a difference between meditating and thinking about a conversation you had yesterday with your sister and what you have to do for dinner, or being able to actively step into different brainwaves. So if you're turned on by this conversation and you're ready to enter higher states of frequency and learn how to do this by design, I'm going to invite you into some of my new courses. And they're free. So I will put links in the description below so that we can do this together as a community. We can access higher and more expansive ways to manifest by design. So breathe in with me, get excited. This is, I think, the leading edge and the cutting edge of bringing new sciences together with human design and allowing people to really step in to their purpose, to spiritually awaken, to step into businesses that actually align to who they are, but make money, open the door to careers and jobs and relationships that are absolutely fulfilling. And this is during these times of chaos, we have to bring forward to the world states of inspiration and co-creation and possibility, and inspire new spiritual collectively co-creating, rather than getting caught in the fear and the drama that is all around us at all times. So to me, this is really exciting, and I hope you're inspired. I'm really honored to share this journey with you and to go deeper into this experience with all of you. So I want to sign off now, but also with the invitation to go deeper into my next stages of masterclass with all of us in this community. So blessings galore, everyone. Stay beautiful, stay kind, and unleash your genius.